Welcome to the Podcast of Hope by Recovery Devon and Well Raver. My name is Stephen and I hope you look forward to the show. Okay, welcome Tiffany to the Recovery Devon podcast.
Thank you.
We're actually going to call it something, but I haven't thought of a decent name yet. I thought basically, I don't know, positivity podcast or something, but it doesn't go.
Maybe,
Like,
yeah.
I've got to think of something good, or I was thinking of Wellcast, but
Yeah. It's hard to
yeah.
think of a name, isn't it?
Well, welcome everybody. This is a second podcast we're doing. We've already started another podcast, but we welcome Tiffany from Devon and Cornwall Directory. So we'll be talking about the directory shortly. And yeah, but first of all, we're going to do a little warm up, and then we're going to find out a little bit about Tiffany. And then Tiffany's going to talk about the D&C Directory, and then she's going to talk about her recovery journey as well. And yeah, it's going to be a really interesting podcast. And yeah, let's go basically. So quick fire round. Crazy night out or quiet night in?
Um, Depends on my mood. I'm actually going out tonight, so
Okay.
yeah. Sometimes I like a quiet night in, sometimes I prefer going out. Just depends on my mood.
Okay. Nice. Where are you going out tonight?
I don't actually know because it's a surprise, so
Okay.
yeah, it should be interesting.
All right. Okay. Well, good luck. Good luck tonight, and have a good one.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Lions or tigers?
Tigers.
Tigers. Favorite country?
Pardon?
Favorite country?
Oh, that's a good question. I've never actually been, but I would love to, excuse me, I would love to go to Italy. Just because I really love Italian food and the culture just seems and the history just seem like amazing. So I'd love to go.
Oh
So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm half Italian actually.
Oh wow.
My mother's side are Italian. I can't
Oh.
speak Italian though. I can speak a bit of Japanese, but unfortunately Italian. Right. DJ or band?
I really like live music, so I'd have to say band for that one.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I know you're a DJ, but
Yeah, that's all right. And your favorite band?
Hmm. I've got two. I really like Paramore because I grew up with them. And Fall Out Boy as well because I grew up with both of those bands and they've kind of been with me since I was like a teenager. So yeah,
Okay. Did I just ask? What is that kind of rock music or something? Or
yeah, it's kind of like well, the genre like depends on who you ask. They're kind of like indie punk kind of rock. Yeah, I think they're both of their sounds have changed throughout the years, so it's kind of yeah, but they're both really good.
all right, brilliant. I'll check them out. I'll check them out later. Audience, check out these bands. All right. Do you like getting up early or a nice lie in?
No, I'm not. I'm not a morning person at all. So,
Go on, man.
um, obviously with my new job, I don't have a choice. But yeah, I prefer a lion. But yeah, mornings are part of life, I guess. So,
Yeah, I know. I managed to find
yeah.
a job that I start work at midday, so I'm happy.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
it's not the most reliable of jobs, but yeah, I'm not a morning man either. What else have we got? Fish and chips or Thai food?
Oh, fish and chips all the way.
Do you have mayonnaise or ketchup or anything?
Oh, I have mayonnaise on not literally everything, but just about everything. Yeah,
I'll
so
tell you
mayonnaise
what,
for me.
get in there. I love mayonnaise as well. I just
Yeah,
slap on, to be honest.
so bad for you though. Like
Yeah, I
literally,
know, I know. I'm supposed to be like being good to myself,
I know.
Sort of like do the opposite. Okay. What have we got now? Yeah, that would probably be all right actually. Yeah. Okay. So basically, yeah, we're going to talk a little about yourself, but just tell the audience basically anything really. Just introduce yourself.
God, now I feel on the spot. So, I have I'm from Bristol originally, and I lived in Bristol for about 20 years. And then because of uni, I moved to Newport against my better judgment, for a while. And then I moved to Cardiff. And then when I was 26, I think 25, 26, I moved to Hong Kong for a year.
Oh, Hong Kong. Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was a teacher out there. So
I teach.
yeah. it was definitely an experience, that's for sure. Like it taught me a lot about myself, and I think that I definitely went at the right time. I wouldn't go now, but so yeah, so that was really interesting. And then I
Mm.
moved back to Cardiff, and unfortunately my relationship didn't work out because I met someone else who I'm now married to. So that's obviously worked out for the
Worked
best.
out.
So I've lived in Plymouth for about 3 years, and I've always struggled kind of with my, my mental health. So like I've kind of been diagnosed with like depression, anxiety,
Mm.
EUPD as well. So yeah, I know that we'll kind of go into that a bit more later, but that's kind
Sure.
of yeah. So and also I have a pet rabbit called Luna. I
It's a good name.
yeah. Well, Harry Potter. We basically said if we were going to get a boy rabbit, we would have called him Dumbledore,
Mm.
but we went for Luna. So Harry Potter fans. So yeah,
Yeah, I like Luna. Dumbledore's
yeah.
too long, is it? I don't know. I prefer Luna, I think. But Hong Kong, I went there during a traveling year out. Were you teaching English or something else? Or
Yeah, I was teaching English, so I had to do my qualification,
mm.
which was a very lengthy, stressful process. But yeah, I was out there for a year. Um, I did really enjoy it, but I I was quite badly bullied when I was out there for a
Really?
while. Things got better like towards the second half of it.
Mm.
But like it definitely taught me a lot about myself, and
Yeah, sure.
I'm really glad that I did it. So
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. I did it. I taught English on and off for 10 years,
Oh wow.
mostly in Japan, actually. Yeah, but
Oh,
actually, I was
hence
in. But a couple of years
that's
before I went to Japan, I went to Hong Kong. And yeah, the humidity. It's like you walk
yeah,
out,
it's
you are
massive. Yeah.
soaked. People complain about it's humid here. No
I
idea.
know. No, I know, I know. Is that why you know Japanese then? Because you that makes sense
Yeah, yeah,
actually if you
yeah. My
live.
wife's
Yeah.
Japanese, and yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Makes
yeah,
sense.
it's both done a bit of traveling. It's interesting. And
Yeah.
yeah, so you've been in Plymouth for 3 years.
About yeah, almost 3 years. Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, is there anything else you want to?
I've always had like a natural kind of interest in like psychology, mental health.
Mm.
I I don't know what I feel like yeah, I don't know. Really passionate about like helping people, and I always take on too much. I always say yes. I'm really
Mm.
the past year I've really been trying to like get better at like having healthier boundaries and like not recognizing when I need to like take a step back. And so like I'm all about like self-improvement and learning and things like that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
100%. One thing I learned during my recovery was just take a day off. But
Mm,
sometimes you can't do it. Sometimes just things come up, don't they? And yeah,
yeah.
like I don't know, it's a couple of weeks ago, I was just like bang, 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 and then I suddenly realized, hang on a minute,
I need to
have some
stop.
downtime,
Mm,
because you need to remember sometimes, don't you? Sometimes you just go.
yeah, exactly. Like a mile a minute. And then you
Yeah.
I burn out a lot because I don't but I have gotten a lot better at because I've been in and out of therapy for like 10 years, so I have gotten a
Mm.
lot better at prioritizing myself and
Mm.
like just learning to take a step back when I need to, which has as you
Yeah.
know, it's not easy, but
No.
self-care is so important.
Mm.
Like it really is. So yeah.
100%. I'll probably get onto some of that later, some tips maybe. But yeah, obviously you said you just started a new job. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I was unemployed for a while. Unfortunately, had a pretty horrific situation happen to me at the end of last
Mm.
year. So I, trying to find a job is like a full-time job in itself.
Yes.
So there was a lot of job hunting and a lot of interviews, and I recently started a job as a assistant psychologist at a nursing home. So yeah, I'm really happy because it's actually a job that is using my degree because
Mm.
psychology is really hard to get into. Like unless you have a
Mm.
doctorate, you can't be a psychologist. So
Sure.
yeah, so I've only been there for about 3, 4 weeks, but I really enjoy it. Like everyone's really nice and like,
Mm.
it is stressful and it is challenging and we work with some very complex people.
Mm.
Um but I've really learned about myself that I don't cope without a routine and stability.
Mm.
So I feel a lot, even compared to like 2 months ago, I feel so much happier and
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Well, that's really, really good news. Okay, so yeah, I keep meaning to get a proper job, but for the last 7 years I've been doing Deliveroo. I need to get a proper job myself, but yeah, well, congratulations on that, and I'm really pleased you
Thank
got
you.
somewhere. Was there something that kind of got you over the line? You said you've been looking for a little while.
Um,
Were you just feeling calmer, or?
I don't know. Yeah, like I'm a very firm believer in like everything happens for a reason. So
Mm,
um, I mean, I did have a couple of other job offers along the way, and
mm,
um, you hear it all the time. Like job hunting is just so brutal now because
yeah,
nine times out of 10 they don't even get back to you. And it was really hard because there's no consideration like from prospective employers. Like they don't consider, oh, this person might have anxiety. So there's just
yeah,
it's 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 just
100%.
it's just really
Yeah,
tough. Like
nothing about that, and you also don't want to really admit it, do you?
no, I
Because
know.
it could be like something like straight at the start. They could say, "Oh, this person's got, she's got
Yeah,
anxiety."
yeah,
On to the next one, isn't it? But
it's really hard.
I
So
applied for a job the other day for the YMCA, and
yeah.
I applied through Indeed. I did a nice cover letter. I spent a little time writing it out. It was like youth club worker, like something I could do. And then a couple of hours later, I got a message back saying, "Oh, we're not applying through Indeed to go on the
Oh,
main
I hate
YMCA." So
that.
that was the only time I
Yeah.
applied for a job recently. And then you do that, and then to get yeah,
I
it's
know.
just like
I
stressful.
mean,
Yeah,
I swear that like, because Indeed used to be really good, but like nobody gets back to you. It's just like, yeah.
well,
So anyway, so I just that I had many points where I wanted to give up because I just thought it wasn't going to happen.
mm,
And then I originally applied for, so the place that I'm working at, I originally applied for another job
mm,
within that nursing home. And then I got a phone call saying, oh, the manager's really impressed with you and your CV. Do you want to interview for the psychologist position? So it was completely like out of the blue. I interviewed for it, and then it turned out that unfortunately, because I don't have my doctorate in psychology, I wasn't able to take that position. So
yeah,
I was devastated again because I thought, oh God, I finally got somewhere, and then it's all fallen to
okay,
but then they really wanted me there, so they basically made this position for me, so I was like
mm,
really um it was quite hard to accept that because I wasn't used to
mm,
people doing nice things for me, so
yeah,
yeah,
sure.
yeah, so yeah, I believe everything happens for a reason, and
Mm.
obviously this was the right job for me, so yeah.
Well, I guess it proves to keep going, doesn't it?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, it's not
yeah,
easy, but
yeah, definitely.
yeah.
But it's good that you kept going, you kept applying, and yeah, you got something. So that's really, really happy. I'm really, really happy for you, and I hope it goes really well.
Yeah, thank you.
And obviously keep us updated and everything. And
I will.
hopefully, yeah, you can do the D&C directory as well alongside, and
Yeah, I hope
hopefully,
so. I
because
mean,
that's such an interesting product to do. And actually, yeah, we can move on to that now, actually. So, first question is, this is a serious stuff. No, 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 it's all right. Okay, so what motivated you to embark on the D&C directory, or do you want to explain what it is first? Actually,
yeah, okay.
yeah,
So D&C, so like it stands for Devon and Cornwall, but so D&C Directory is something that I started working on a couple of years ago because I was working in a job that wasn't giving me any work. So like
no,
I had all this kind of like time on my hands. So it started off as being just a list of like uh autism friendly services in Plymouth. And then
yes,
me being me, I just kind of kept going with it. Like then so it started off as autism services, and it
okay,
grew into Plymouth. Then I just kept going. But it's a directory of like a massive directory of services across like Plymouth, Devon, and Cornwall.
hmm,
I've also included peer support groups on there, well-being apps, other directories. It's basically
okay,
a
well-being apps,
massive document that outlines what is available out there because in terms of what motivated me to do this is the fact that as somebody that's been the person trying to access the services and the professional referring people to services, it really became apparent that even though there's all this support out there, 9 times out of 10, people either don't know where to go or they don't know how to access something. There's just too many gaps out there, and I really don't like this phrase, but there's people just end up being revolving doors because
Mm.
they get passed from service to service to service. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why the directory basically aims to minimize the gaps as much as possible and
Mm.
just improve that connection between services and between people. So
Sure.
that's,
I
yeah.
absolutely get that. I absolutely, even during my recovery, I found that, yeah, there's nothing centralized. Like, the Recovery Devon have got some information, someone else has got some other information, and
Mm,
yeah, it needs to be brought together. And I think this is a brilliant idea.
thank you.
Did
Definitely.
you imagine it to go big, or were you focusing on autism in particular, and then it just like
Um,
got bigger?
I I'm not sure to be like it's really because I'm really lucky since starting this. I've met so many amazing people, and I'm really well connected with like Marbles
Mm,
Lost and Found, the Trauma Informed Plymouth
mm,
Network. And so no, I didn't expect it. I to be honest, I didn't go into it with any expectations because I've never done something like this before.
mm,
Yeah, I didn't when I originally started this, I didn't plan on making it so massive, but I just thought
mm,
because I've seen like other directories out there. So like you've obviously got Pod, which is just for Plymouth, then you've got Devon Connect, which is everywhere except Plymouth. So to my knowledge, there's nothing out there that covers Devon, Cornwall, and Plymouth. It's always like
mm.
one or the other. So yeah, I don't know. I definitely didn't plan on it being this size. No.
Okay. Well, it's interesting if you start something and then you're passionate about it. I reckon it just goes,
Mm.
doesn't it?
Just
Uh,
keep going. Yeah.
what was the Plymouth one? Did you say P something Pardle?
So it's part of Plymouth Online Directory. It's
Plymouth
on
Online
the
Directory.
yeah. It's on the council's website.
Sure.
And I've actually been in contact with Plymouth City
Mm,
Council. And they said that they would be able to put me. They'd be excuse me. They'd be able to put the Plymouth section of my directory on there if I
mm.
link in with the person with Pod, but I've unfortunately not had any luck with that. But I'm going to keep
Okay.
persevering because, yeah,
Yeah, I keep trying because they're probably like ingrained and they've probably got some maybe a project that's like taking a lot of their time or something.
yeah,
I might have time like later on, hopefully. But yeah, I think
hopefully.
it's brilliant if you can link into all these agents. I mean, I've seen on Facebook, how many people you linked in with. I mean, yeah, it's amazing. Is there any reason you focused on autism for the
It was because so the place I was working at was like a mental health organization, and one of my colleagues just basically because we ran like a lot of support groups and stuff. One of my colleagues just basically asked me to put together like what's out there for people with autism. So it was a colleague that asked me for some help, and then
okay, sure.
I really I really interested. Oh, sorry, I really enjoyed like researching what was out there and stuff. So I just yeah, I kind of just kept going because I just thought
Yeah,
there's so much support out there, and like
there is, yeah.
unfor- unfortunately like a lot of people don't know what's out there because there's so many services offering similar things
Mm,
that it's just kind of yeah overwhelming.
yeah, I think so as well. Well, hopefully it will really get this D&C directory out there now.
Hopefully.
Especially you're still building your website, aren't you?
Yeah, so it's funny you should ask that because I've been working on the website. Well, I've wanted to do a website for so long, um, but basically, I have never built a website before, so I've massively underestimated how long it's going to take.
Yeah,
But not only that, it's having the time for it because even when I wasn't working, I was so busy, like because when I was unemployed, I was just like non-stop networking, non-stop. I was going to lots of workshops and events. I've never like just sat down for a day and done it. So
yeah,
I'm in the process of doing it, but because I'm trying to get so much information onto one website. Um,
yeah.
so I mean, I'm lucky. I've had like lots of support from like Pop and Iridescent Ideas and
Mm,
She Plymouth. Um,
Mm.
So it is coming. It's just I need to actually just
Yeah,
spend a
yeah. I
day
mean,
sitting
when
down.
it when
Yeah.
it comes, are you using a developer, or using like a WordPress or something like that, or
I'm using Wix.
Wix? Yeah, that's the other one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because you
So
can build it yourself, but yeah, it takes a lot of time to how to present it and everything, doesn't it?
yeah, it does. Yeah. And
Different
it's a lot of,
pages. Yeah.
and it's also trying to figure out how do I get the information on there in a way that looks good and it's not,
Mm.
because I've got a lot of services on there, so it's kind of like how do I go about doing that?
Mm.
So
Yeah, it
yeah,
will come in time.
hopefully.
Yeah. Okay, I've got a couple more questions. What have the highlights been since you've been doing the D&C Directory?
Um, I think like all the people that I've met from doing it, like
Mm.
I have met and spoken to and found so many like-minded,
Mm.
inspiring people, not just in Plymouth, but like in Devon as well.
Yeah,
It's all the people that I've met and actually like speaking to people one on one. And also I would say another highlight has been like the response I've had from doing, like I do not find it easy to take
mm.
you know sorry, compliments or like
Mm.
positive feedback. So like just the sheer response I've had from doing this
For sure.
has been a massive highlight as well. So
Yeah, 100%. I think I found a similar thing from Well Raver doing that. And it's like I think I'm similar. You get comments like "you're inspiring me" or whatever,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's hard to deal with it. You go, "Oh, thanks, mate," or something.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I think like to anybody, I think like if you can do something like this, it's. I mean, do you feel like you network, but network kind of naturally? You just always
Yeah,
meet
so
people.
like
Yeah.
I mean because I'm linked in with some really key organizations here, like, so many organizations like VCSE organizations run events and workshops. So when I was unemployed, because I was really struggling, I just kind of maybe a bit too much, but I like threw myself into everything. So I've found people through events I've attended or like
Right. Yeah.
people have passed on my information to other people. Like it's been like a combination really. So some people have
Mm,
found me, but I've also found some people. So it's kind of like
sure.
been and a lot of it's been word of mouth as well, which has really taken me by surprise because if people are finding you through word of mouth, I'm like, oh my God, like it just, and I've had times where like I've just in passing mentioned the directory and someone's gone, oh, I've heard of that. And I'm like, oh my God, like it's just so,
Yeah.
yeah, it's massive. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. That is really good when that happens, isn't it?
Yeah,
What have you learned about yourself while working on this project? That's a tough
that's
one.
a very good
That's a
question.
tough one. I thought I'd throw that in there. Just
Um, what have I learned about myself? Um, God, I don't know. Like it's such a open question, isn't it?
yeah.
Well, I would I would say I've learned that I take on too much, but I knew that anyway about myself. I
Social
don't know.
skills, like just speaking to people, confidence, or
Yeah, like I've learned that like people do actually care about what I have to say,
Mm.
and I've learned that even though I'm just one person, I can make a difference, and I have been making a
Oh, for sure.
difference. Um, yeah, like it, and I've learned like how much because I've always like been passionate about helping people, but
Mm.
I've never helped people like because I've always helped people as part of an organization. I've never helped people just through something I've done on my own.
Mm.
So I guess like I've learned about how I can support people. It's different, isn't it? Supporting through an organization versus yourself. So
Mm.
I've learned more about how to support people as like a single entity rather than as a bigger
Yeah.
company. So
It's amazing. I don't want to keep on going back to me because it's about
no,
you.
no, it's
But yeah, doing
fine.
something yourself is just, yeah, it's amazing how many people you can reach out, isn't it? Just one
Yeah,
person. Just need like a few more people to get stuck in, and it's, yeah.
yeah,
But I think that hopefully, like this could inspire some people today. Hopefully, people thinking of doing something, get out there, do it.
yeah.
It's,
Do
it's
it.
like you grow so much as a person to confident. Like I've got so much more confidence than I used to have now.
Yeah, yeah.
Used to have, it's just like shocking. But I think it's brilliant. And yeah, I was going to say, I think you might have sort of answered this in part anyway, but how have you kept your well-being in check while working on a project? I think you kind of answered that already, but
Yeah, like so it's really tricky because the directory is definitely a full-time job in itself. So
mm,
having the directory, it sounds like dramatic, but having the directory like saved me. Um, because I was in a really, really bad when I lost my job, and basically end of last year, everything was taken away from me. I
mm,
had nothing, I was just in complete bits. So yeah, having a directory, I would say it saved me. So how have I kept my well-being in check? I even though like I do burn out sometimes because I do take on way too much. I have really made sure to like just have like a duvet day or have a do
oh
nothing
yes,
day. Um, having like for me, I know it kind of ties into like my recovery journey, but like just having a break from my like going out and not taking my phone with me so I can just actually be
one hundred
in the
percent.
present moment. Yeah.
Yeah,
And also like I think keeping my well-being in check, just listening to my own body and my own needs and like just making sure that okay, yeah, I might overdo it sometimes, but making sure that I also like stop and take it easy as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what's recommended to me actually, just to have that duvet day. And I think that if you
Yeah.
embark on a project that that's what you're doing, especially if you work it as well, it's just
Yeah.
like just can't stress that enough. So if you even
No,
do,
for sure.
that's what I mean. I know even if I know I'm working hard, I know, oh maybe next Thursday I'll just bang, I'll just have a day off, and it just helps.
Yeah,
It
for
helps so
sure.
much. Um, how have you coped with any particular challenges that have arisen?
Um,
What's your
so that's another very good question. So, one of the biggest challenges I've faced is there's been lots of organizations that I've tried to reach out to or tried to link in with, tried to connect with, and they've just ignored me basically.
sure?
And that's been quite difficult to sit with. Um, obviously not going to mention any names, but that's been
Mm,
it's been difficult because I'm kind of sat there like, what's not what's wrong with you, but it's like, oh, this is so frustrating because like just yeah,
mm.
like it's really weird because like
Yeah,
I'd say like 85% have been really eager, and then there's been like odd 10-15% that
sure.
just haven't been. So
Mm,
dealing with that, um I guess I've just been, even though it has been like slight setbacks, I guess I've just been focusing on the people and organizations that are interested and do want to get involved. Um,
sure.
so, but yeah, like, rejection's never easy, no matter
Mm,
how old you are or how used to it you are. But
100%.
I'm quite good at, oh, sorry, I was just gonna say I'm quite good at persevering anyway. So, yeah, it has been a bit of a setback, but it's not
yeah.
affected me too. Yeah.
Do you feel like sometimes I've contact? We might need to do this in two halves. This interview, actually, I think it's already getting towards the end. But we've got about 10 minutes before all the it won't receive the recordings. I have to do it another.
Yeah, yeah,
So, but just basically, yeah, I found that like sometimes I message people, do you want to get together, other promoters, and sometimes I don't reply, and you feel like almost sometimes it's lack of respect. Sometimes
yeah,
I don't know, but really they've probably got their own thing going on, and
yeah, yeah. That's true.
yeah, I think maybe I don't know. Yeah, they've probably got putting on the big events or I don't know. But
Yeah,
yeah, I understand what you're saying. I've had a little bit of that myself, and it's like reply to me. Yeah,
yeah. Even if it's
you
a
know?
no, just say something like,
Yeah,
just
yeah. At
take
least
2 minutes to.
acknowledge you, acknowledge them. But hopefully that they'll come to you in the future. I know you can't name them, but hopefully they'll come into you in the future. And
Yeah,
at least just keep
hopefully.
going. Just now and again, drop them a reminder email or something, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, Okay, so yeah, we've gone on the website already. I was going to say what you expect to find on the website, but it feels like you've got a bit to go on in it.
yeah. So like it, I think what I've decided is the website is gonna because I've had a lot of meetings about this and a lot of toying around with ideas and what works, what doesn't. What I've had to do is because the directory is like over sorry, 40 categories. I've had to like condense them into like 25
Mm,
categories. And I think the website is going to be, so far I've got it so it's like the regions across the top, so like Plymouth, Exeter, Torbay, and then I've done the page by, I've done each like section by category. Um, so rather than anxiety, depression, blah blah blah, I've just done it as mental health,
mm,
because then that helps to condense. But it's really tricky because the directory is so big. I've then uh, it's really, I don't know how I'm going to do it,
mm,
because it's a lot of copying and pasting basically to do
sure.
this. There's no, I've tried to think of a fast way of doing it, and I don't think there is
Yeah.
one. So it's just, yeah.
Mm. Just gonna be one of those
But
things that just comes when it comes.
yeah. I'm
Yeah,
I just need to, like I said, I just need to find a day where I can just sit down and just do it.
sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, where can we, what are the main places we can find the D&C directory? Obviously, you got Facebook. What's the Facebook page?
So Facebook is just D&C, so D and the and
Yeah, yeah,
the and
yeah,
symbol,
yeah.
D&C Directory. It's on the Marbles Lost and Found website under
Sorry,
quick
Lost and
link.
Found. Which Lost and Found? Sorry?
Oh, Marbles Lost and Found.
Marbles. Okay, Marbles.
Yeah, it's a really amazing mental health organization ran by an equally amazing person.
Mm,
So it's on the Marbles Lost and Found website. It's on the Trauma Informed Plymouth Network website.
yeah.
Um, City Care Southwest has also done like a little piece on me, which was really weird in a good way.
Mm,
So like there's information about it there. Um, I'm sure it's I'm sure I'm dotted around. The problem is sometimes because I've been doing this for so long, well not, but I've had lots of emails and stuff. It's really hard to keep. I've tried to keep track of where I am or where the directory is. So I'm
yeah.
sure it's probably dotted around various other places
So
as
I mean,
well.
say someone's listening, say there's someone's running a wellbeing service here and they want to get in touch with you. Should we just say Facebook, or do you want to give an email address?
Yeah, I mean, the main email address I use is Devon and Cornwall Directory at hotmail.com. But I keep my Facebook page very updated. So if
Mm.
anyone ever wants to like leave a comment or a message on the Facebook page, that's fine as well.
Okay, Tiffany, ready to talk about your recovery journey?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so maybe talk about the sort of like the catalyst that made you start on the journey, and basically, yeah, when did it start? And if you take us through some key points.
Yeah, I think the word recovery is interesting because I think recovery, certainly from what I've experienced, and I've spoken to other people about it, and from what I know of other people, recovery is like an ongoing thing. It's like it's not a static thing, and
Sure.
it's not a finite thing. I think recovery is ongoing. So for me personally, I think I mentioned earlier that I've been in and out of therapy for 10 years. And whilst I have made massive improvements and there have been a lot of changes, I think if you have any sort of mental health or neurological condition, I think for me, recovery means, I think acceptance is a large part of recovery. It's something that
Mm,
I'm certainly still working on. A lot of people I know struggle with acceptance. Um, so for me, it's not about trying to like get rid of or eradicate my mental health conditions. I think it's about like, I think I've got like this picture in my head. So it's like recovery is like your life gets bigger and like the things that you have going on get smaller. So like it's not
yeah,
about like erasing the anxiety or depression. It's about filling up your life with other stuff so that the anxiety and depression don't completely rule your life. That's what it's kind of been like for me. Um, it's taken me a long time. Like, don't get me wrong, I've still got like a long way to go, but like I I think I think within yourself, it's really hard to realize that you've made changes. It's when other people comment on it and they say, "Oh my God, you've come such a long way." Because like we're really bad at recognizing
sure.
changes in ourselves because it's you, isn't it? So it's hard to yeah. So my recovery journey, I first started getting counselling in school. So even though I say therapy on and off for 10 years, I kind of mean that for my adult life.
Sure.
But yeah, it's an interesting one. I've had a lot of like really, really intensive therapy over the years. Yeah, but I'm the same as anybody else with mental health stuff. You know, no matter how much recovery I do or how far I get, I will
Mm,
always get those bad days and the days where I can't get out of bed and I don't,
sure.
I don't speak to anyone. But I think when you start to recover, you, I guess it ultimately boils down to having more good days than bad days.
Sure.
Um, yeah, and it doesn't feel like such a large part of your life. That's kind of what recovery kind of means to me.
Sure.
So yeah.
Would getting struggling to get out of bed, would that be more on the depression side, or
Yeah, so like if I've like burnt myself out or of my depression, because like my depression used to be really, really bad. Um,
mm,
it's not so much anymore, but I do still get depressive periods.
sure.
But I think it's about like for me, it's like having protective factors in place. So like a really good support network, things that you enjoy,
Mm,
things that like self-care, like nobody I know is good at
mm,
self-care, but like it's so important. Like I
100%.
think we live in a world where it's like go, 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 go. You always have to be on autopilot. You always have to be like
Yeah.
achieving and doing something. And we get made to feel bad for having a day off. And I think that's insane because it's like, well,
Mm,
you can't. One of my favorite sayings is you can't pour from an empty cup. If you've got nothing left to give,
yeah.
then yeah.
100, 100%. Yeah, I'm so with you. I'm
Yeah,
so with you on all of this.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I feel like maybe sometimes, well, my therapist has been really good. She's tried to sort of encourage me that I don't really have anxiety anymore, and I don't feel like I do. But like even this week, though, I've definitely been feeling a bit funny. I don't know. Was going to do this event. It was really pumped up about this event, but they had a fire at the venue, so not sure what was going
Oh
ahead. And
God,
it's kind of like affected me quite a lot
God, that's
this week,
awful.
actually, quite surprisingly. So yeah, it's definitely like I don't think you ever really fully recover.
No,
But it's
I
a
don't think you
question
do
of
either.
yeah, getting your life as good as it can be.
Yeah.
Like this is actually really quite positive for me doing this morning.
Hmm.
So it's just like you better creating opportunities of creating things that you can
Yeah.
in effect fall back on. If you like, if you're having a bad
Yeah.
day, you still got the directory, you still can communicate with someone about it,
Yeah. Yeah.
still get
It's about,
positivity, even if you're not feeling
yeah.
well.
Yeah. I think it's just about like accepting like yourself and accepting that, yeah, you'll probably always be a little bit poorly, but that doesn't have to completely take over your life.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
you know, so,
yeah.
so I can hear my neighbours, he's getting a tree cut down or something. So
Well,
apologies if there's any like background
it's
noise.
not coming across
Oh, that's all right then.
from my end. Um, is it
Oh.
okay to ask what did you have like? What kind of therapies you had, and what was most beneficial therapy for you? Or
Um, yeah, it's kind of tricky because there's so many different
yeah,
types of therapy out there, and also most therapists use like multiple approaches within their kind
sure,
of, you know, their therapy. So, um, I've had CBT, which is like
mm,
the one that kind of focuses on thought, feelings, behavior cycle.
sure,
I found that quite useful. I'm currently in the middle of like a 14-week, so it's called dialectical behavioral therapy. So I'm like in the middle of like a 14-week DBT course. And that is mostly for people who have conditions like emotionally unstable personality disorder. I don't
sure,
really like that term because I think it's very
yeah,
stigmatizing and it's very, what does a disordered personality even mean? Um, but I'm in the middle of that. Admittedly, I've not been giving that as much time as I could be. I
Sure.
think I'm a very firm believer in the more you like therapy is hard. Um,
Mm,
it's really, really hard. Like I've got a long-term therapist that I've been seeing her for almost 4 years.
mm,
Um, and I've learned over the years that like whatever type of therapy I have or haven't had, like the more you put into it, the more you get out.
sure.
And it is hard and it makes you question everything about yourself.
Mm,
And it's really emotional. And
mm,
yeah, but I think in terms of, I just had a thought in terms of your previous question. If you want like a physical example or physical representation of recovery. So when I first started seeing my current therapist, I was seeing her once a week, and that wasn't enough for me, but that's all she could see me.
sure.
4 years later, I'm now seeing her once every 6 weeks. So,
Yeah.
I think that's a really nice example of like what recovery is. It's not needing that therapy to get you through 1 week, you know?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, that is so interesting to hear that. Yeah, I mean, I think we're kind of going through almost similar stages because me, for hypnotherapy changed my life. I had the CBT, that definitely helped, yeah. But the
Mm,
hypnotherapy I did just totally calmed me down, totally relaxed me. But this is the first year I never actually haven't had it like continuously.
mm,
Yeah, I've had some bad patches, but I sort of got through them. And
yeah.
then, yeah, 3 or 4 years ago, I would have needed hypnotherapy.
Mm,
But it's just like, yeah, I started having it, I think, once a week, then once every couple of weeks, and once a month and things. Yeah, it's really interesting. Like,
yeah.
it just helps, doesn't it? And you can get at a stage where maybe you need something, but not the same
Yeah. Well,
extremity, not the same intensity.
yeah, I think as well, like through therapy, you learn your own because everyone's got different coping mechanisms. Everyone's got things like I know some people that can't stand CBT. Um,
Yeah,
it just depends on like there's so many different therapies out there, and also you might find the right therapy, but not the right therapist.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, but for me, like whenever I have therapy now, it's like because she's known me for such a long time it's when you get the feedback like you've come such a long way or like 6 months ago you would have reacted like this and now you're reacting like this
Yeah,
and it's just
exactly.
kind of like I think we are conditioned to always be striving for more, never happy with our progress, you know, but when we get feedback on how far we've come,
100%.
that really and for me now, you know, in between therapy sessions, yeah, I have days where I struggle and like I said I can't get out of bed and
Mm,
I get really just not in a good place mentally at all, and I don't sleep and I
sure.
don't eat properly. But now it's about it's really hard to put it into words, but I guess I don't feel like I need therapy in the same way that I did even like 6 months ago. So it's kind of like,
Yeah,
yeah.
that is good. I'm going to try and pronounce it. The dielectric therapy, is that different from your regular therapist? Is that something
So yeah, the dialectical was a bit of a mouthful, wasn't it? So that was
I had to
a
write it down? Yeah.
no, it's fine. It's a bit of a mouthful.
Mm,
That is a course that I was referred to. The waiting list was absolutely. This is another reason why I did the directory because like
mm,
the system that we're in is basically like people are not getting help until they reach crisis point
mm.
by often which it's often too late.
Yeah.
And like I had a mental health assessment. I was referred to this course. I waited about 7 8 months for it to start. What are you meant to do in that 7 months? Like
Yeah.
just it's just
And there
ridiculous.
might be a group you can go to or something, maybe,
Yeah,
or
yeah. So it's a 14-week course. It's like a group therapy because DBT is quite often done in a group.
mm,
Um, so yeah, but I'm a bit annoyed at myself because like they give us like these workbooks every week, and I'm terrible for it. I had ACT once, which is acceptance and commitment therapy, and
mm,
I did like a workshop on like stress management. I'm really bad at like every single therapy I've done. I'm like, right, I'm going to take the workbook home. I'm going to go through it, and I'm just terrible.
mm.
So if I'm being
So
completely
yeah,
honest, I probably could be getting more out of the DBT, but
yeah,
I just need
sure.
to actually get off my butt and go
Yeah.
through it.
Okay.
But
So maybe you
yeah,
need, yeah, self-motivation, kind of, yeah.
mm,
I
yeah.
don't know if this might work, but sometimes, like for me, because my problem is I can like binge eat, like I'm addicted to sugar. Sometimes if I haven't eaten like a chocolate or Mars bar, I'll do a tick, and then like later on I'll buy like a nice tune or something from the internet. I don't know if that might work. I don't know. Yes, yeah, it's a motivational strategy. I mean, but yeah,
Oh,
because
I
I
get what you mean. Yeah.
yeah
For me, I find it easier to do something if I've got someone holding me accountable. It's like someone reminding me, someone actually,
yeah
yeah,
asking for
uh,
volunteers or
yeah, I know.
yeah.
Someone, please tell me to do
Um.
this.
Well,
Yeah.
let's talk about the techniques that have worked for you then,
Um,
or are
that's
working, or
it's a really good question. What has worked for me?
what's been most useful. It might not work all the time, but what has been useful techniques you've
Um, just like making sure that I get the most out of my in therapy you have to really delve in
mm,
like to really like sometimes to memories that you've like suppressed or forgotten about.
okay,
So like I always try and that's a really good question. I don't know, like I get on really well with my current therapist. She's really helped
yeah,
me but again it wasn't easy. I didn't just kind of snap my fingers and
yeah,
go down to 6 weekly sessions. Just yeah, be like being honest in sessions, finding what tools kind of work for me.
yeah,
I'm a really big fan of like compassion focused therapy.
compassion focused,
So it's literally like having that self compassion. I think a lot of it comes from like a lot of what's worked for me has come from time and experience and growing up and you know to like just it's really hard to like put it into words. I guess
yeah,
like learning, like hearing other people's stories and things that they've tried,
mm,
learning to like put myself first, learning boundaries has been a big one.
okay,
Learning,
for sure,
yeah, learning that it's okay to say no. That's
right,
admittedly that's I'm still working on that one, but
for sure, yeah.
yeah.
About being self-compassion, do you like do that through meditation, or how do you go around?
Um, I I have recently started doing so I read this book called Confessions of a 40 something,
Mm,
you know, F word up.
yeah.
Um and in the book she starts like a daily gratitude list.
Ah,
So
gratitude. Yes, I know.
yes,
Yes,
I thought I'd give that a go.
yes,
Yeah. That book has like changed my life. I would highly recommend it.
yeah.
And I've got like a well-being journal that I use. I think in terms of like tools that work for me, exercise is a massive one as well. But I think recovery tools are an interesting point because you could have like 10 things that work for you, but they're not all necessarily going to work. So like
Mm,
for like a year, one of them might not work, and then you might go back to it. And it's about, I think, recovery and knowing what works for you is about being fluid, and it's about like experimenting. You know, I guess pushing yourself out of your comfort zone to try things that you wouldn't normally try.
sure.
Yeah,
And that gets
it's
you confidence,
mm,
I think.
yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I've heard so I've been fortunate to have interviewed a few people actually. A lot of them people come up with the doing the journal actually.
Mm.
Um, but so do you do daily what you've been up to during the day kind of thing, or what about the journal?
So the journal that I've got is called Every Mind Matters, I think. And it's like each month has got again not been great at filling that out. Something that I need to work on.
Mm,
But like every month has got like a different theme, so like hope or calm or peace, and it's got like little daily tips that you can try. Um, because of that journal, I started taking digital breaks from my phone, which I cannot recommend highly enough because
Yeah,
everybody is glued to their
I need to do
phones
that.
99% of the time. And we live in a world where it's like, I see people all the time like apologizing for not replying to people and they put, I'm like,
Don't.
no, just stop. Like,
No, I mean,
God.
what is it? If you have a phone off,
Yeah,
so what? What's the emergency? I mean,
I
if
know,
it's
I
like a
know.
death or,
I just
wait,
can't. No, I can't even go down that road. It's just like
yeah,
we, I we just live in a world where like people like I saw this thing on Facebook. It was like, don't confuse free time with availability. It's like, yes, exactly. Just because someone is not doing anything doesn't mean that they're available to talk.
exactly.
So it's like just my biggest tip to people would be like just have a break from your phone. Like leave your phone at home, leave it upstairs, just
Mm,
step away from your phone. It's okay. Because like social media is really bad for my mental health.
yeah.
Um,
I'm
just
usually okay about that, but like this week, it's just like I want to know if this festival's going ahead. I've been like keep on like looking at the Facebook page, but I
mm,
don't. I try to this week. I've been trying to just basically just think of something else to get excited about. So it's not about this festival, but it's
yeah,
sometimes it's
yeah,
hard work. Um, and the gratitude. Do you write down a few things, or when you can, or
yeah. So like, so in the book, it's like try and do 5 things a day, but the
hmm,
author is like, um,
try and do 5 things a day? You mean
yeah, she.
smile
I
at
mean,
people or something like that? You mean, or
oh well, like so. I've got up my phone here. Let me just have a look because it's probably easier to explain.
sure.
Yeah, bear with me. It's here somewhere.
Talk about the
So like,
gratitude now. Like, yeah,
yeah, so like my gratitude list. So like, I'm trying to do 5 things a day, and it can be like I'm not always managing it, but it could be anything. Like so, um, so a couple of days ago, I was like, I'm grateful for um the hour and a half I got to spend watching TV because like now since I've been working, I don't stop. My new storage boxes because it could be something as small as that. And like I put like the warmth from my head because when I'm like I dry my hair and I got like a little heater on my bed. I'm just grateful for like the warmth that gives me, which
I
might
see.
sound silly, but it's just
No, no,
like yeah, it's just small things like that. It could be anything, or it could be
no.
big things, or yeah,
That's really interesting doing it different times a day. Like
yeah,
sometimes I think of, I think a technique that someone told me was think of 5 things every day.
yeah,
I normally do that at the
yeah,
same time, but I think why don't you do it at different times of the day as well?
yeah, yeah.
And have you noticed a change since then?
I've only been doing it for like 4 days, so
Oh,
not
okay.
maybe, but I'm sure it's hard, isn't it? It's hard to gauge. How do you gauge whether or not something's making a difference? It's hard to
Yeah, yeah.
but I'll keep going.
Okay. Well, I think that
Yeah,
the idea is to keep going. I haven't been doing it as much as I was, but when I was doing it probably a lot about a year ago, I definitely found like things were happening, things.
yeah.
But for
I
me, I
think
love the meditation. I like putting some deep trance meditation on, just lying down and just going out. Have you tried
yeah.
the hypnotherapy? Maybe I can talk to you this after the show. But that for me, I wasn't really going back on things like about the past.
Um
It's just basically you kind of you're given positive discourse and you just zone out. But I don't know. Maybe I can have a chat after the show. But
I have I have tried to I have done hypnotherapy once before, a long time ago. I can't remember what I had it for.
didn't quite.
Um, I honestly can't. It was
I mean, there's
about
different
10
types of
years ago.
hypnotherapy, yeah. But I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it depends if it's for you or for not for you. But I mean.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I did try it. I did feel better after I had it, but I only had one session, so it's hard to tell
Yeah.
if it had like I think for me, my recovery has been the culmination of like it's lots of different tools at lots of different times, and it's I think recovery is trial and error. You know,
Mm.
something that might work for you at one point might not work for you later on, or vice versa, or it's
Yeah, so
just
it's not
about
hasn't been one big thing. It's been like maybe
yeah,
you're doing the journal, you're doing the exercise, you're doing setting your boundaries.
Yeah.
So it'd be a
Combination of
combination
everything.
of
Yeah.
things. Okay, that's very
Yeah.
interesting actually. See, yeah, just 2 seconds.
It's all
Tell
right.
you what we'll do. What's your advice to someone else? You might be thinking of starting a wellbeing related project. So for yourself, it was directly. For myself, it was like on wellbeing raves. And it's something. What's your advice to someone who wants to get in and what it might be have a like little barrier? It might be not so confident, or what might your advice be?
Um, I would. That's another really good question.
Mm,
Um, I would say, like, if you're thinking of doing something, do it because the world can always
mm,
do with more. What have you got to lose? You know, if it,
yeah,
if you do it and it doesn't work out, at least you tried. And but if you do it and it does work out, then you've made a massive difference. So it's kind of like I just think I never imagined the directory getting as big as it did or having the impact
mm,
that it did. Um, and just don't let your if you're passionate about something, you've just got to go for it because what have you got to lose? And the world can always do with more people doing something good. So
yeah. And you
yeah,
never know where it can lead.
exactly. Yeah,
Like for example, I thought I was just going to do raves. I ended up presenting on the radio, doing
yeah.
podcasts, and he just did talks as well. You just never know, do you?
No, you don't.
Yeah, and I think would you say just go into it, or would you just go sort of like slowly first, or how?
Um, how like if there's something like if you it depends what the project is, but like have a look at what's already out there.
Mm,
Um, get get yourself involved. Like there's like I've been lucky enough to connect with so many brilliant organizations. So like link it, like find out what there's always support for like social enterprises or well-being projects. Just have a look at like what's out there. Get yourself into some like Facebook groups or communities so
mm,
that you don't feel like you're on your own.
sure. Yeah, of course.
Um,
Sure. Yeah.
yeah, and just be patient with it because like I started the directory almost 2 years ago, so it takes, if making a difference takes a long time. So
Sure.
just be patient as well, I'd say.
For sure. 100%. Do you think it's useful to have someone who might could act as a life coach? Could be someone professional, or someone maybe even a friend that can like tell you like you're going a bit too much here, or something like that, or
Um, I what do you mean? Have I had someone saying that to me, or would you?
or in general, really, someone to kind of say maybe start this, but don't go too far. Do you think it's mostly you did it by yourself?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's always good to have like whenever you're starting something, it's always good to have like social support.
Sure.
Keep yourself keep yourself in check and just make sure that you are supported even if it's just like I've had, I'm really lucky I've had some really good support around me, so
Yeah. Because I think if you're going to take something on, maybe
mhm,
you should think about it before you do it. Maybe I'm going to have 1 day a week off that I just
yeah,
turn off or something. And I think if you do that,
yeah.
I think then
I was lucky because being unemployed really sucked, but it gave me the time I need. I was lucky I had basically 4 months to throw myself into the directory,
mm,
not 24/7, but
mm.
but now I'm working again. So like because the DBT I'm doing is on a Monday, I've now got the time to so I've got Mondays off for the time being. So
Oh yeah,
that
you arranged
I'm
that
I'm really
recently, didn't you?
yeah, I'm really lucky because now I've got Mondays to I've got an extra day that I wouldn't normally have. I guess
Yeah.
it depends on like if someone wants to start, just look at your kind of capacity, look at what you've got going on. Can anybody help you with it? Just don't just I don't just dive into it if you can. I was like, have a good think about it, do your
Mm,
research, make sure that you are and like even with I just make sure that you still give yourself some time off, because if you burn out, you can't do anything.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I think it's the
just
thing, just having that, being aware that don't just keep going and going and going and have some time off, because I would just like just go for it. I think I'm kind of like it. But I have had lots of kind of like I know lots of techniques. I do meditation every day for an hour and that always calms me
mm,
down. And it's like then yeah, I don't have my phone on and things. But yeah, I think
mm,
it's like definitely 100% if anyone's listening, have a go.
yeah, what have you got to lose?
Yeah, exactly. Have a go.
Yeah.
You don't know where it could lead or anything. I think we've already talked about this in the last one. I think you said how can we find you on social media? I think we said that one. So I think we'll do, if you like, a closing message, a final message to share with anybody. I don't know,
Um,
well-being related or whatever.
yeah, I
Yeah,
guess um it's always, it sounds a bit maybe corny, but it's always worth believing in yourself, even if nobody else does.
100%.
Because because you know, I've had a lot of experiences where people didn't believe in me, and now I feel like,
It's not.
I'm not a smug person, but it feels nice to know that hopefully I've proved some of those people wrong, because I did believe in myself. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I won't go into too many details now, but I think maybe slightly similar thing. Um, yeah, I think I'd echo what you say. Believe in yourself and do something. And when you push your boundaries, you find
Hmm.
that you gain confidence, and then you can push them again.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Tiffany. Sort of, I think I've really enjoyed speaking to you about this. Anyway, it doesn't really matter about that. Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's just like been a really nice interview, and I think there's quite a few things that you said that kind of overlap in some of my own recovery actually. And I think Recovery Devon are really going to really enjoy this interview actually, and I hope we can help promote what you're doing as well through.
Yeah.
It's going to be on Buzzsprout, and I think hopefully that we can now reach out to more people. I'll put this into a video editor, and I'll put some links to your social media in there.
Hmm.
And I want to say thank you very much. I've really, really enjoyed doing this interview.
Yeah, thank you. I've really enjoyed it too.
Yeah, and hopefully it can inspire a lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you very much indeed. I'll end the recording and I'll give you an email after this.
Yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.